by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. They do this by tapping into the Hindu version of Chi, the life energy suffusing the universe, called prana.
Yogic flying is an advanced meditation practice. What happens due to a mental technique, the brainwave becomes powerfully coherent. A lot of bliss and energy starts to flow through the physiology, and spontaneously the body springs. The first stage of yogic flying, the body can't hold still, and it starts to spring and hop and tries to fly. The second stage is when the body actually hovers in the air for a short while. And the third stage is mastery of the skies, when the body can fly.
The first thing you notice when watching people practicing the first stage of yogic flying is that it looks less like flying and more like hopping in the lotus position. The second is that these people are really happy.
Flying feels absolutely fantastic. Just before a person takes off, just before they levitate, they experience a great expansion of happiness. Even getting off the ground 1 inch is pure fulfillment. Second stage will be even better, and third stage, I can hardly wait to see 10,000 people flying in the air together.
Stage 3 sure looks a long way off. However, TM University researcher Dr. Fred Travis claims there are actual metabolic effects in the human body, even in stage 1 flying.
We look in that 1 second period, just before they actually lift up. There's broadband, which means it's across many frequencies, global coherence. And so the person is in a very different state of mind, different state of brain. We call it pure consciousness. And it's from there that the impulse to fly comes.
The claims escalate from there. They reject Newton's laws of gravity, saying they are hundreds of years out of date.
Newton's laws simply say that the human body will be held down to the Earth by the force of gravity, just as the moon is held to orbiting the Earth through the force of gravity. So if the body lifts up, it would be in defiance of these classical gravitational laws. We understand how you can overcome classical gravity and how the body can float and fly.
Perhaps not surprisingly, no one has gotten beyond stage 1 of the process, and the university won't predict when or if yogic flyers will ever truly fly. But they say it doesn't really matter, because they've found that even first stage yogic flying produces an interesting byproduct, what they call the Maharishi effect.
The real purpose of yogic flying, especially in groups, is to create world peace. Put an end to this tragic legacy of violence and crime and terrorism and war.
That's right. They say if we can get a critical mass of people to practice flying, about 1% of the population, generations of Miss America contestants will get their wish: world peace. For now, TMers remain grounded for all but split seconds. But we did find one yogi who really does fly, in his own plane, thanks to the millions of rupees his avid followers donate in poverty-stricken India. Acharya Satyananda is a sort of celebrity televangelist, broadcasting his brand of fortune-telling and spiritualism to 250,000 followers in Calcutta. What's his secret? That same great universal energy that powers yogic flying, prana. By accessing prana, Satyananda claims to be able to read and manipulate people's minds.
I have a sixth sense, a power. People come to me with their problems. As soon as they enter the room, I know what their problems are. I read their minds.
During meditation, Satyananda claims, his mind leaves his body and gathers the electromagnetic powers of the universe. This energy enables him to exert his powers over the minds of his followers, even 6,000 at a time. But Satyananda has big dreams. One day he hopes to control the whole world. He's built a lucrative business empire, but he's not apologetic. In fact, he considers himself a more modern type of God-man. Traditionally, Indian holy men renounce all worldly possessions and live a simple life. Not quite the lifestyle Satyananda prefers.
Sadhus don't do anything for society. I want to do something because my followers give me a lot. So I'm starting an aircraft maintenance and engineering institute that will be the biggest in India.
But not everyone believes that Satyananda is tapping into vast energies unknown to science in order to control minds and foresee futures. Meet Guru Buster Prabir Ghosh, the scourge of Calcutta's so-called godmen. He's on a mission to rid India of certain gurus who he believes to be cheats and thieves. Little does our godman know, but Ghosh has a trap waiting for him, and it will take real superhuman powers to get out of this jam. In India, the tradition of godmen runs long and deep. They're conjurers that roam the country in a sort of traveling sideshow, demonstrating so-called miraculous powers. But not everyone in India is convinced that godmen are for real. Guru Buster Prabir Ghosh has spent years patrolling the streets of Calcutta, seeking to expose all forms of false claims and swindles.
We go after godmen and godwomen who claim to possess supernatural powers in order to show people that godmen have no such powers and they are a danger to society.
In this city, he's had incredible success. Godmen are few and far between. So now, he and his team are taking the show on the road, touring rural Indian villages and drawing crowds of people by demonstrating how so-called miracles are performed. Ghosh says that India is a haven for unscrupulous godmen, all making easy money from even the most ludicrous claims. It's his life's work, exposing the godmen who make money by false means, especially those who prey on India's vast underclass.
Godmen make a fortune because villagers are ignorant and afraid of any misfortune coming their way. They'll tell villagers to offer prayers along with 2,000 rupees, otherwise their son might die. That villager will even mortgage his land to shell out that amount.
Today, he is exposing a simple and common godman trick, throwing balls of fire. The key? Just combine dirt with potassium permanganate, which is a component of flash powder. And voila, a giant fireball. Currently, the #1 most wanted godman on Ghosh's list is our prosperous flying godman, Acharya Satyananda.
He is an extremely wealthy man who cheats people out of money by using astrology. He scares people by telling them about problems that may not happen and then charges them $100, double the monthly salary of most Indians. One can imagine how much he is exploiting people.
Prabir Ghosh has invited us along on his mission to expose Satyananda. Ghosh and his group of skeptics have set up an elaborate sting operation. He'll send in 2 teams of people, all unrelated, who will pose as family members. Each team will present Satyananda with a fictional problem they will ask him to resolve. As a godman who can tap into the mystical energies of the universe to control minds as well as read them, he should surely sniff out the counterfeits and expose them before they expose him. This can be dangerous work. Ghosh was once attacked and had several ribs broken while exposing a godman scam. Will Satyananda really be able to call upon his so-called sixth sense, read the skeptics' minds, and expose the operation? The first team enters the guru's office. The only information he asks for is the young woman's date of birth.
October 1981. 10 October.
After checking some charts, he tells the woman that she is unable to sustain relationships with men because her life is unbalanced. He then prescribes an expensive amulet that will protect her and gives advice as to the right person to marry.
Just went through a book and said, yes, these are the problems. In her horoscope, these are very dangerous signs, and she has to wear this medallion, which costs 5,500 rupees. I think it's not even 1 month's salary for these people who are sitting there. So you can imagine the amount of hoax, amount of cheating they are doing in the name of this. They are just scaring people like anything.
The second team meets with the guru and gets a similar treatment.
Date of birth?
25th October.
78 October.
Once again, he hands over a prescription that calls for purchasing a pricey amulet. The plan then moves into high gear. A text message is sent to Ghosh, signaling that it is time to confront the God-man.
চেনেন এসেছিলেন হ্যাঁ
আপনারা কি সবাই একসাথে গেছে
না না আমরা তো এখনই এখানে ঢুকলাম
আমি একটু তো ওয়েট করতে হবে
হ্যাঁ বলুন আপনি একটু ওয়েট করুন এর সাথে একটু কথা আছে
Ghosh then asks the team to retell the made-up stories to everyone, which causes an uproar. The guru demands that Ghosh return all of the documents he wrote, and his entourage starts to get ugly.
Once they realized that we were there to expose them and their fraudulent activities, their behavior suddenly became antisocial. They and their hired goons became violent towards us.
Satyananda's staff demands that Ghosh and his team leave the office. But not everyone gets out in time. The National Geographic producer who has filmed part of the sequence is still trapped with an angry Satyananda and his entourage.
We are here now at the Satyananda's ashram, and they have captured our director because we have proved him wrong. He's already fake, he's a fraud, and at the same time, yes, hit the director.
The police are on the way. Yeah. They're on the way.
Thanks to the police, our producer escapes with only bruises. But Satyananda's revenge has only begun. 3 days later, while broadcasting his television program, Satyananda pleads with his followers to kill Prabir Ghosh. Satyananda is quickly arrested, and local politicians call for an end to broadcasts like his. In the end, apparently, the mystical energies of the universe deserted Satyananda.
When you look at Satyananda, you see the paleness of his face because he became nervous. Why is that? If he's such a powerful God-man that reads minds, why could he not read my mind too? This is how we expose Satyananda.
For the moment, it seems, Ghosh and his skeptical team have grounded Acharya Satyananda. But it's time to return to the more remarkable claims of people whose